going on, everybody? It's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the divisional round weekend of the NFL playoffs. We got 5 games, 5 intriguing games at that. The first game I want to talk about is Houston and Baltimore. Baltimore, they were able to finish out the regular season undefeated at home. Houston, dark horse team, everybody's surprised that they got this far. They was only projected to win 4 games this year. But that's a young up and coming team. They basically the young guns of this season. But this game will be close. This game will be close. Only way this game is not close if Houston turns over the ball. First off, if Houston turns over the ball, commit careless penalties, and the run game doesn't show up. You have Baltimore have everything at their arsenal. Y'all, we've all seen throughout the entirety of the season where Baltimore, they can dominate the scoreboard defensively and offensively. To be exact, the defense has put up 7 touchdowns. And the offense, last few games, they put up over 25, 30 points a game. But the last game that they played versus the Steelers, they didn't play because they already had home field advantage. But one thing about it, they wide receivers, Odell Beckham Jr., he has playoff experience. Now, Zay Flowers is his name. He's a rookie, so this is his first playoff experience. Now, do I think Baltimore is going to lose this game, y'all? No, I don't. But it will be close. Houston has a top 10 offense, at 8. And Baltimore has a top 5 offense at 3. The defense is on the other hand. You got a defense in the top 10, and then you have Houston as far as the defense middle of the pack. So, and when it comes to QB pressures, Baltimore leads everybody in that. Houston is not far behind. So I think that this game, it'll come down to defense on both sides. It'll come down to who can generate the most pressure on either C.J. Stroud or Lamar Jackson. Now, Baltimore, 4 years ago, you was in this situation. Had home field advantage, projected to go to the Super Bowl, and the Tennessee Titans came in your house and beat you. Now, this Houston team is not built the same way because C.J. Stroud can take over the game and put the team on his back. But I got Baltimore winning this game. But it would not surprise me if this game come down to the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, or this game may even go into overtime. Either scenario can happen. But it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. But in the end, Baltimore will win this game, and they will go to the AFC Championship game. So that's all I got for the first game of divisional round weekend. The second game, Green Bay and San Francisco. Green Bay is another young team. In fact, they are the youngest team in the NFL. Their average age is 24 years old. Everybody is under 30 years old on that team. Jordan Love, he is 23 years old. The running back is only 27 years old. The wide receivers are 22, 23, 24, and 25 years old. The tight end is 23 years old. So they have a young and upcoming group. that I'm not gonna say that can potentially make noise because they made noise versus the Cowboys, so we already know that the offense is dynamic. Matt LaFleur, he's one of the top coaches in the NFL, has one of the top the offense for Green Bay has come along of late, and since week 15 they have been top 5 in offense. Now, one thing about this, as far as Green Bay, the defense is the best way I can say the defense is average. Green Bay's defense, their defensive statistics is against the run 18th, against the pass 14th, and total defense is 23rd. So with that, you're going to have a hard time trying to stop this offense that you are about to face. Now, on the San Francisco offense, you have Deebo Samuel and Mr. First Down himself. I like to call him Mr. First Down because most of his catches, they get first downs or they get touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk. Then you have George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Then you have Brock Purdy. Those offensive players can really change the outcome of this game. So Green Bay's defense is not all that up to par. They are going to have a tough time trying to stop San Francisco. This game, it may be close, then it may be a blowout. I'm a reach in the middle because a lot of people, they've been commenting me throughout the week saying, is this going to be a blowout or is this going to be a close game? So I'm going to reach in the middle. This is going to be a close game. It may have the chance to get out of hand, but the way I've been judging these games throughout the playoffs and throughout the regular season, this game will be close. If it be a blowout, it'll be late in the fourth quarter with San Francisco having a firm lead, 20, 10, 15, 20-point lead, and then they'll win. But Jordan Love, he is going to be under pressure this game. He hasn't experienced much pressure since they've had this winning streak. So he'll experience pressure in this game. And San Francisco will win this game. The next game I want to talk about is Tampa Bay and Detroit. Detroit's defense has been up and down all season, but the final stats say that they are a top 15 defense, top 5 run defense, and they only give up 18 points per game. Now, we seen versus the Rams, they gave up 24 points, which they gave up They gave up 23 points. They scored 24 points in a wild card win last week. Now with Tampa Bay, I got to say something. I got to give my respect to Baker Mayfield because the last few games he has proven all the critics wrong. His last I'm not even going to say 3 of his last 4 games. He's played Green Bay, had a perfect passer rating. He played the Panthers. I'm not even going to count the Panthers game because they already had the division locked up. But against the Eagles, he had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now everybody was expecting the Eagles to win, and I was expecting the Eagles to win. But the Eagles had so many defensive lapses, and congratulations to the Tampa Bay defense on stopping the most unstoppable play that the Philadelphia Eagles have already had. That tush push, Tampa Bay got lower than Philadelphia, and they stopped the tush push. Now for Tampa Bay, The defense. The defense played phenomenal during that game versus the Eagles. Now I'm gonna give y'all some. Now I'm gonna give y'all some stats. Now during the regular season, the Tampa Bay defense was bottom 5 in total defense, bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 5 in passing yards allowed, bottom 5 in rushing yards allowed, and just like I said, in total defense, they were giving up over 25, 30 points a game, at least 20. And against the Detroit Lions early in the season, they gave up 20 points in a loss. Well, it was week 4 they were playing. Well, week 5 they were playing against the Detroit Lions, where they lost 20-6. Now, these are two different teams now. Both of them are established. Both of them made the playoffs and won their games. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be this far. Tampa Bay, you got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, the running back, and Baker Mayfield hasn't thrown any interceptions. He didn't throw any interceptions in the playoff game. Now that is great for the Tampa Bay offense, because against the Detroit Lions defense, you cannot turn the ball over and expect to win. Now that's the Tampa Bay offense. The Detroit Lions offense, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got the running back. Then you got Jared Goff, who's had a good game, who's had a decent season rather. He's had a good season, and he had a decent game versus the Rams. Now, albeit they were gonna win that game regardless, because it's the first ever playoff game in Ford Field, and the first playoff win for them in 32 years. Excuse me. Now they're playing a much tougher competition versus Tampa. We know Tampa, they like to blitz a lot. Todd Bowles, he's a blitz specialist. He likes to blitz. He likes to run cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, and he likes to run one blitz package that he hasn't used is triple high safety. He hasn't used that. He always have a middle linebacker, defensive linebacker, and the middle linebacker, he guards the running back. And what I think is, Jared Goff, he doesn't run a lot, but in this game, he might take off and run. So what the defensive coordinator need to establish in his defensive scheme this week is a QB spy for Jared Goff, because Jared Goff at times he can take off and run, get 5-10 yards, and we already know 10 yards equal a first down. So for Tampa's defense to have a pretty good game, they are going to have to keep the wide receivers Amon-Ra St. Brown and the running backs and tight ends under control, because with Detroit, it's hard to be this season. It has been tough to go into Detroit and win in Detroit, and I'm going to say that because mainly any team you go to their home, it's hard to beat them anyway. But with Detroit, if they have the type of defense that everybody knows that they can have, and if they come out there, don't play around, and get a lead and keep a lead, like maybe if they get up by 10 or 14 points, 2 touchdowns, it may be over for Tampa, because against the Detroit Lions defense, I'm going to tell you, Detroit has only given up 19 points per game throughout the entirety of the season. You saw against the Rams, they only gave up 24 points. So we know that that defense can come up when it is time to come up and when it's time to step up. So after all of that, I am going to give my prediction right now. It's hard for me to pick against Detroit in this game because Detroit, they are climbing up the mountaintop. And I think that even though that they might have to go on the, well, if San Francisco, I'm going to just say this, that here's the scenario. If San Francisco lose, Detroit will host the NFC Championship game. If San Francisco win, then Detroit will have to go to Santa Clara and play the 49ers. So those are the scenarios for both of these games. I got Detroit winning because Baker Mayfield, he's had a good season, had a good game against the Eagles. But I think the Baker train, it stops in the Motor City this weekend. Yeah, the train, the Baker Mayfield train, it stops in the Motor City this weekend. I got the Detroit Lions winning this game. This game will be close. They might win this game by 3 points. If not 3 points, it'll be 7 points. And then, but that all depends if Baker Mayfield doesn't throw any interceptions. Now, if Baker Mayfield throws interceptions, Detroit can probably win by 14 to 20 points. But as I say, all of these playoff games, I'm judging them and I'm predicting them as close games because not too many playoff games in the NFL the last few years have been blowouts. So this game, Detroit will win. I'm picking Detroit to win by at least 3 points, whether it's a walk-off field goal or a play where it runs the clock out. They will win by at least 3 to 7 points. The next game I want to talk about, and the final game, is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. I've had people throughout the entirety of this week ask me, Key Time, who are you picking in the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills game? Now this is the most intriguing game of divisional round weekend because we know what Kansas City has and we know what the Buffalo Bills have. Kansas City, where their downfall might be in this game is the wide receiver position. Where has Marquez Valdez-Scantling been, and where has Kadarius Toney been? Both of those guys have been MIA, missing in action, throughout the last month and a half. So one thing I can see in this game for Kansas City to have I'm not even going to say for Kansas City to have a chance to win. But for Kansas City to generate points and offensive yards, they need this wide receiver to ball out like he did versus the Miami Dolphins, and that is Rashee Rice. And we already know what Travis Kelce is going to do. And one thing about it is, can Kansas City not have many drop passes in this game? Because if you drop a pass in this game on a critical play, whether it's first down, second down, or third down, it may be tough for you to come back and win this game. If you get down in this game early, it may be tough for you to come back. The reason why I'm saying that it may be tough for you to come back is Buffalo has injuries on their defensive line and in their defensive in the defensive backfield. A linebacker got injured versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is going to dice the Buffalo Bills defense up? Now, one thing, Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't throw too many interceptions in the playoffs. Now, another thing about the Kansas City offense is if Patrick Mahomes start throwing interceptions, which he rarely does, that is going to have a leg. That's going to give Buffalo a leg up. Now, one thing about Josh Allen, he has those games where he throws multiple interceptions in a game. In this game, I'm not expecting him to throw too many interceptions. I'm expecting for Stephon Diggs to go off. I'm expecting for Dalvin Cook, the running back, to go off for over 100 yards. But those 100 yards might be tough to get because Kansas City's defense is one of the top defenses in the NFL. We already know that Kansas City has kept the offense. At times, the Kansas City offense has looked inept, and at times, the Buffalo Bills offense has looked inept when it comes to Josh Allen throwing interceptions. This game is already going to be close. Throughout the entirety of this game, it will be close. No matter what, the only thing where this game may fall off the rails is turnovers and penalties. Do I think that this game will come down to the last possible possession for both of these teams? Yes, I think that this game, it might be an offensive explosion, a back and forth, and who knows, it might be a defensive battle because both of these defenses are in the top 15 in the NFL. Now, the moment of truth. Everybody's been asking, who am I going to pick in this game? I know that the Buffalo Bills are a favorite in this game, and they should be because they are at home. But one thing about it, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are playing with house money in this game. And the reason why I say they are playing with house money because wide receiver core is bad. They have the most drops in the NFL. They're not projected to win. Kansas City, they haven't played the underdog role much since Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback. Josh Allen, one thing about him, he's a good quarterback. One thing about him is I got a little bit of concern about those interceptions. Who knows? If Kansas City has a lead, Josh Allen start throwing the ball in the tight windows, they might have a possibility of getting intercepted. For this game, this is a tough decision, but I'm gonna go ahead and make this prediction. I got I got Kansas City winning this game. I mean, I can't go against Kansas City in this game because they have the better defense, and plus the one reason why I'm going with Kansas City in this game is because they have the better defense, and even though everybody at this time of the year is dealing with injuries, Buffalo Bills, they have been dealing with more and more injuries going into every game and coming out of every game. I expect Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to slice and dice the Buffalo Bills defense. I expect the running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I almost forgot about his name, but I expect Isaiah Pacheco to have over 100 yards rushing in this game. What Kansas City needs to do is establish the run early. Get the Buffalo Bills defense on their heels. Do not get into any third down and long situations. Keep it within 3rd and 5, and you will have a good chance at winning this game. Plus, I am going to say, now the scenario for this game is if Kansas City, well, basically, if any of these teams, if Kansas City or Buffalo wins this game, whoever is the winner of Baltimore and Houston, they'll have to play those teams. Now, if Baltimore wins versus Houston, Kansas City or Buffalo will have to go to Baltimore. Now, if Houston wins versus Baltimore, the winner of Kansas City and Buffalo, they will host Houston in the AFC Championship game. So those are the scenarios for this weekend, the NFL Divisional round of the playoffs. And with that, those are my predictions for the Divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, the key is always on time.